This is CBC Here and Now.
Two minutes of silence is awesome, but it's just a pittance of time. And we need to make sure that we're really remembering what was done for our freedom today.
It'll still be a great day. It'll be a new kind of routine, but it'll still be great.
And this is a big gift for us guys, that's for sure.
A somber day, this year much more solitary as well, marking Remembrance Day 2020.
A calm and cool Remembrance Day, but temperatures are on the rise again.
We're going to get to our special Remembrance Day coverage in just a moment, but first an update on a West Coast COVID case. Last week's mysterious positive case in the Western region is, in fact, negative. Eastern Health's microbiology lab made a data error, and that's not all. In reviewing that mistake, the lab found 2 previously undetected cases of COVID-19. Well, now the health authority is apologizing to those who received inaccurate results, as well as to those who went through unnecessary contact tracing.
We're very confident that these 3 are the cases that are involved, but we will go back now and look at all of the matching, and just in the off chance there might have been other cases, but we're fairly confident in terms of the review that we've done, and of course the proof is in the pudding in terms of the lack of disease burden in the population. So if there had been these errors that had gone undetected, we would expect to see more disease in the population.
While COVID-19 forced public ceremonies across the province to be cancelled this year, a few musicians found their own way to mark Remembrance Day. On front steps in Mount Pearl and Lewisport, the last post was played to honour those who fought for freedom. Here now's Jeremy Eaton has that story.
Standing on his front lawn in Mount Pearl, Morgan Hillier honored the 2 minutes of silence. Then the cornet player paid his respects the best way he knew how.
I'm going to put a post on social media for all my cornet trumpet playing friends to challenge them on November 11th, 11 a.m. Grab your cornet, grab your trumpet. Let's go out in our own communities and do the last post, because a lot of our people in our communities would be at the War Memorial today, and today they're not there. They're not hearing that respect. 2 minutes of silence is awesome, but it's just a pittance of time, and we need to make sure that we're really remembering what was done for our freedom today.
His daughter filmed the doorstep performance for a Facebook Live video, giving others the chance to share in the moment.
It's a respect factor to our veterans, those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, those who are serving, those who are still facing demons today. Just knowing that they're not forgotten. The last post in Reveille was a huge part of military, and just doing that humble service to them today and giving them the respect that they deserve.
In central Newfoundland, a lot of family history inspired a small ceremony in Lewisport.
And I luckily had the opportunity to do it on this bugle, a bugle from about 1910. It was built, and it was played by my great-grandfather Edward Frederick Crum in World War I, and I got to play it today.
Baxter, a music teacher, was in love with the bugle as a boy. Last Christmas, he was given it. Today, a major moment for himself and his family.
The only word that comes to mind is just special. I tried to turn off my heart and my brain when I was performing the last post, and that's only because I feel like I have a duty to deliver the best performance I can. Definitely nervous before because you want to nail it, right? But when you're in the moment, you got to turn it off, you got to be pro, you got to do what you can. Afterwards, man, I definitely felt this crazy sense of pride that I had the amazing distinction to do this in 2020. Over 100 years after, I get to take this and do my thing.
Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, Mount Pearl.
A marvelous story. Now, I was at the War Memorial in downtown St. John's this morning for this year's private pared down Remembrance Day ceremony. And while there, I spoke with a veteran of the forces who's been taking part in these services for 44 years.
Not being able to parade and show our pride, it hurts. It really does. I mean, I feel for it because it's something that I take a lot of pride in and my family takes pride in. And everybody you see here today, I mean, this was advertised as a private closed ceremony, not open to the public sort of thing, and we got a crowd here today. So this will show you the support that our veterans get.
Now, in the weeks leading up to today, we've been telling you about legions in the province and how many of them have been struggling during this pandemic. Well, no socials or group gatherings, that has meant none of the much-needed financial support for veterans and their families. Yesterday, Ottawa announced a new aid package for the struggling branches. Legions across the country are going to receive $14 million, which will help with operational costs. A local president says it means many will be able to stay open now. He also says this year's Poppy campaign has been an unexpected success.
The Poppy campaign, you know, surprisingly well. I've spoken to a few of the branches around the island and up in Labrador, and they said, spectacular. It's unbelievable. Like normally to put a coin in or whatever, and we're finding a lot of $5s, $10s, and $50 bills and donations. Good Lord, from everybody, small and big. It's really, really wonderful.
You mentioned business. You had a business that donated too, right?
Yeah, we had a really good donation from Pipers here in St. John's. It was a wow for me. It was a $5,000 donation. It was excellent. It was, I'll tell you, it'd be much appreciated by the veterans, their spouses and families, that's for sure.
Well, this week, workers on the Turkish peninsula of Gallipoli broke ground on a new monument. It's the 6th and final statue in the Trail of the Caribou, which extends throughout northern France and Belgium. Now, the last location, just meters from the graves of 12 Royal Newfoundland Regiment soldiers. The CBC's Adam Walsh spoke with the project's manager.
So it's been over 100 years to complete Thomas Nangel's vision of the Trail of the Caribou. From the Newfoundland perspective, in recent times, it's been more than 12 years.
Being the project manager for this and being there overseeing what will be the final bits of it, how does that feel?
I don't think I've taken the time to actually realize the magnitude of, from my perspective, I think more so than anything else, because I've been involved with the history of the regiment for so long, and I understand the importance of commemorating our soldiers.
Ground's broken, stuff's in work now. When's the completion date, and is there any word or any possible word on any kind of ceremony yet, or is that TBD?
TBD on the ceremony. We are going ahead to finish as fast as possible. With COVID and everything else that's happening in the world, we don't want to delay the construction at all. So we're hoping construction will be complete and landscaped and caribous erected by February or March.
February or March.
Of 2021.
And then we'll see from there.
Then we'll see from there. Hopefully the world will calm down, we'll go back to traveling, and maybe next year we'll have an official dedication and ceremony.
Over 100 years later.
Over 100 years later, yes.
Frank, thanks for meeting me this morning.
Thank you, Adam, for having me.
Well, right next to the War Memorial where Frank and Adam were talking in downtown St. John's, there's a living museum that's dedicated to keeping war stories alive. Now, the Crow's Nest Officers Club was created during the Second World War, and it happens to be the subject of a new documentary that was released online. Margaret Morris is a retired naval officer who appears in that documentary, and earlier today, she shared one of her favorite stories.
It's a very unique place that is a time capsule of the war years. Everything on the wall has a story behind it, and it really has to be experienced. It's difficult to describe.
I think when you look at the future of this club, the fact that it's survived this long, the fact that you and I are talking about it right now, I have no doubt that this is going to be here in 50 years because there's something a little bit magical about it.
Well, on this November 11th, the Skeena story is very special. In 1941, it was Jimmy Hibbard who was the commanding officer of Skeena. He was the senior ship of a 4-ship escort to a 65-ship convoy. It was a difficult crossing. 16 of those ships were sunk, 4 more were damaged. But when they got to the other side, when they got to Liverpool, I believe was their destination, All the surviving merchant captains wrote a letter to the Navy thanking them for their support to that convoy. And Jimmy Hibbard got a copy of that letter, and he read it out to his crew. And as a result of that, his crew diverted their own canteen funds to help the Merchant Sailors Club in Halifax, which had recently had a flood or a fire or some such thing. So that letter and his crew's reaction to it, that was a source of pride to Jimmy Hibbard for the rest of his life, and as you might expect. And I think it shows the importance of showing gratitude and sharing gratitude. And this, on all days, is just what we're doing, showing gratitude.
Well, chilly night out there right now. This should actually be the low for the night, and then temperatures are on the climb as we head, or going to climb as we head into the morning hours. I'll have all those details in your full forecast coming up.
When the town of Harbour Grace built this beautiful community garden, it dug up a lot of valuable sod, and that sod, well, it all vanished. And now there are lots of questions about how that sod ended up here, beautifying the summer cabin of a town councillor. It was a great moment, Ashley, at the War Memorial today, one of those moments of Newfoundland humor where this older fella said, we might have the COVID, but the weather's some good, because there have been some Remembrance Days that have been abysmal. Today, very little wind, the flag's hardly moving. Wasn't that bad down there?
Yeah, not at all. And temperatures this morning were way warmer than where they're sitting right now. And we can thank the setup for that. Let's take a look at what we saw this afternoon. We've got an area of low pressure moving into Labrador, and that has an associated warm front with it. And then that cold front just to the south is why we're seeing some of those cooler temperatures as well. This is where we were sitting. Now, these temperatures were after midnight, so our daytime highs were actually earlier today. In fact, Corner Brook at 16 degrees just after midnight. Just before that, between 8:30 and 9:30, your temperature jumped up to 18 degrees, which broke a record from 1950. So certainly a warm start to the day. Take a look at where we're sitting now. Only 3 degrees in St. John, 7 in Badger, 9 in Corner Brook. And we're starting to see those temperatures. 10 degrees in Lab City right now and 1 degree in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now, as we head through the night tonight, these temperatures are going to climb. There's that freezing rain that I was talking about yesterday. That's going to make its way towards coastal areas of Labrador as we head through the overnight tonight. And then note these temperatures back up to 8 degrees for Happy Valley Goose Bay. So it will change over to showers or just stay as drizzle through the overnight. And then we're going to note those temperatures across the island are going to start to climb as well. So this is after midnight. Some showers or drizzle will move through as well, but also look at those temperatures as we head into the early morning hours on Thursday. No, not much change through the day either. Those showers will continue to make their way through, heading towards eastern Newfoundland as we head through the day. And then into the afternoon, some clearing skies, temperatures in the teens, and then back down to some of those cooler temperatures up through Labrador, -6 for Lab City. And daytime highs tomorrow will be quite mild for most of us. Like I said, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees. A little cooler for the northern peninsula, some windy conditions as well. We're looking at gusts anywhere from 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. Northern peninsula, a little bit windier. In the Canada Bay area, you could see gusts upwards of 100 kilometers per hour overnight tonight and then through the first half of tomorrow. But again, those cooler temperatures for Labrador, Lab City, you're going to see the potential for some flurries and -4. And then as we head into Friday, we're looking at those temperatures dropping. So back down to the single digits, 0 degrees for Lab City. Again, looking at that potential for flurries. The reason for those cooler temperatures is a ridge of high pressure. So that's going to move through, move out fairly quickly. Then we turn our attention to Saturday. This is when the next weather maker will move in. It's looking like if you haven't put your snow tires on, you might want to do that here in the metro area. We could see our first accumulating snow. The track of this system obviously determining how much snow we'll see or if we'll see a transition to rain, but certainly something to keep an eye on as we head through the next couple of days. After that, we're looking at cooler temperatures right across the board. That's the story through both central and western Newfoundland as we head into those single digits and then up through Labrador as well, back down to the minus single digits through the day, although we are looking at some sunshine through the weekend. Wanted to share this wonderful photo of the fall day in Brigus. Gary shared that one with us. And if you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, a theater group has done a deep dive into the lives of 17 young soldiers from the Northern Peninsula who were killed during the First World War.
Well, all these guys here, they lived in this area of the coast right here, between here and Bellburns, Sally's Cove and Bellburns.
Now, for years, Theatre Newfoundland and Labrador has been on the mission to bring each of those stories to their stage. They poured through old records and interviewed various people and family members to make the production as personal and accurate as possible. Now, their project is the focus of a documentary which is called 17 Men. Here now spoke with Theatre NL's artistic director.
And that's James S. Payne.
James S. Payne.
I mean, he looks so young, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he was only 18. 18 or 19.
Welcome to war. There are 17 names from World War I etched in stone on the Cowhead War Memorial.
I know that on the coast around Cowhead, almost every family was affected by it in some way or another. It was a big, major part of Newfoundland and Labrador history. Our world actually changed with that war. Our whole future after World War I was changed and altered because our brightest, our best, our smartest, a lot of them died in those fields.
This is a picture of my Uncle Jack.
Wow. A lot of them were the only educated men in Newfoundland and Labrador. They felt they were getting behind the British flag. They felt they were doing something important for their country. And some of them were doing it because they came out of poverty. They were living in the conditions in coastal Newfoundland and Labrador at that time in small communities was poverty like we don't know today. And these boys did it for their mothers and their fathers so they can contribute to the economy of Newfoundland and Labrador. And they never came home. So I think that that is worth remembering for its own sake, that it changed the course of Newfoundland and Labrador history. And I sometimes wonder, as I research these smart, great, wonderful men, what we would have been if these men had been able to contribute to our society, what we would be today. I think we would be something different. I think we will be something much different than what we are. So to me as an artist, that's very intriguing. You know, it changed the course of history forever for Newfoundland and Labrador. So what better or more important story to tell and to continue to tell?
Not going to panic.
On no man's land they rushed across, you could hear their charging cry.
These two filmmakers, Peter Buckle and Johnny McKinnon, managed to capture that magic, which really, honestly, Carolyn, I thought, why would anybody want to see how a play is created, especially a play about history? I kind of was like, this will never work. Nobody would be interested. But when I saw the documentary, Buckle and McKinnon, they just did an amazing job in finding the heart of what we were doing as a theater company and the heart of the story of the 17 men who fought in that war.
Well, thanks, Carolyn Stokes, for bringing that item to us tonight. If you'd like to watch that documentary, 17 Men, it will air live on CBC Gem this Saturday evening, starting at 8:30 Island Time. attention tonight on our services here, but people across the country honoring veterans in COVID-friendly ways. And one of the more creative is in Nova Scotia.
The folks that did the tribute, I don't think they realized what's happened here today. Watching other people come and spend time and reflect quietly, and this whole veteran, it sure makes your heart feel good, because you just know it's not going to be forgotten.
Now he's talking about this display of more than 2,000 crocheted poppies. A nurse at a seniors home in Dartmouth organized that tribute, and the seniors stepped in to get the crocheting done. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to wind things down now with the Royal Newfoundland Regiment Band.
Yeah, the band teamed up with Alan Doyle on a special project. It's called Arms of Home, and we're going to leave you with that tonight. Really appreciate you watching, as well as for those of you who listened to our special on the radio today, and we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Good night.
When do you leave?
Friday morning.
How's your mom doing?
She's fine. It's hard knowing she'll be here by herself, but she understands. I'm really gonna miss home.
This is just a meadow, like so many that you know, where boys and girls played soldier in the sunny long ago. No, I am not a hero, no more or less than you. Oh, I'm just like all the others who did what we had to do. So just sing me a song when the fields are in flower, and I'll never lie here alone. Love will bring me across the water and into the arms of home, into the arms of home. Weep not for me in summer, nor the winter, spring or fall, for I've seen my share of sorrow when I was standing tall, and tears will get me nowhere I've not already known, but a melody can move me ever closer on to home. Sing